time since the American people have rallied around an enemy and their hatred for an enemy the way they feel about Vladimir Putin today. The last time we felt this way, I think, was Osama bin Laden after the attacks on the World Trade Center and the Pentagon. Even in the run-up to the Iraq War, while the Bush administration sought to portray Saddam Hussein as this terrible villainous figure, and he in fact was a terrible villainous figure, because the war itself was always so divisive, the hatred was not as intense. But hatred for Vladimir Putin today crosses party lines, with the exception of some on the fringes of the far left and the far right. And this hatred is well deserved. Vladimir Putin is a very destructive actor on the world stage, not just because of the horrors in Ukraine, although this is the most dramatic, but because of what he's been doing over the last decade, or 2 decades really, repressing his own people, imprisoning his political enemies, interfering in the politics of countries around him, the destruction in Chechnya, we can go, the war in Georgia, the list goes on and on. But I want to just make a warning. This doesn't mean we should curb our distaste for Putin, or give up on trying to stop him, or just let him do what he wants. But it does mean this is a moment when this consensus emerges here in the United States that we need to watch our own backs. We need to watch our own civil liberties. We need to watch what some forces, particularly on the right, would force through now that would be destructive in America in the long run. We need to watch the way a new consensus emerges around America's role in the world, around how America can make no mistakes. And one example of this is the Iraq War itself. Somehow we're told not to talk about that now, that it's not relevant. The U.S. action in Iraq does not justify by any means what Vladimir Putin is doing now in Ukraine. Nonetheless, if you want to understand contemporary American history, contemporary world history, or America's role in the world, you can't just ignore the Iraq conflict. So let's focus on stopping Vladimir Putin, but let's also focus on protecting the United States and protecting our civil liberties and the truth in our history.